If you've ever felt like money is ignoring you, maybe it's because you've been too polite with it. I know that sounds crazy to say. Everyone's taught you to be grateful for money, to love it, to welcome it with open arms, to vibrate high, to stay positive. But what if I told you that being too polite with money is exactly why it's not showing up? What if the key to finally breaking through isn't more gratitude, but an honest, direct, even confrontational conversation? Let me ask you something. How many times have you repeated affirmations you didn't feel? How many times did you force gratitude while inside you were screaming, "Where are you?" How many times did you pretend to be fine, aligned, vibrating high, when the truth was you were frustrated, exhausted, tired of trying, and still nothing changed? Because here's the secret nobody tells you. The quantum field doesn't respond to your mask. It responds to your real frequency. And if your real frequency is repressed frustration disguised as forced gratitude, the field receives a confused signal, energetic interference, and nothing manifests. So today, I'm going to show you something that goes against everything you've been taught. I'm going to show you why arguing with money consciously, strategically, honestly, might be exactly the piece you've been missing. And no, you're not sabotaging yourself by doing this. You're about to become real for the first time. So if you're tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not, if you've tried every technique and nothing truly worked, if you feel there's an invisible wall between you and money that you can't tear down, this video is for you. I'm going to explain the science behind conscious confrontation, why it works on an energetic level, how to do it the right way without falling into victimhood, and what happens when you finally take off the mask and become brutally honest. Because at the end of the day, money doesn't want your perfection. Money wants your truth. And when you deliver truth, everything changes. So let's get straight to the point nobody wants to admit. When you're frustrated with money but force a smile and say, "Thank you, universe, thank you, money," while inside you're screaming, "Where are you?" That's not gratitude. That's a mask. And masks don't manifest anything. Let me explain what's happening here. When you feel frustration but force positivity, you're creating what science calls emotional dissonance. It's like your heart is on one frequency and your mind on a completely different one. The HeartMath Institute spent decades researching this and discovered something fascinating. Heart and brain need to be aligned to create energetic coherence. When they're in sync, your electromagnetic field becomes strong, clean, powerful. When they're in conflict, the field gets confused, total interference. Imagine you're transmitting two radio stations at the same time, one saying, "I'm grateful, I'm abundant," and the other screaming, "This doesn't work, where's my money?" What does the universe pick up? The stronger frequency. And usually unexpressed frustration is much stronger than forced gratitude. So you get stuck in this exhausting cycle. You repeat affirmations you don't feel. You visualize a reality that seems too distant. You force a state of joy when inside you're falling apart. And the worst part? You start feeling guilty for being frustrated. Oh, if I'm frustrated, it's because I'm not vibrating high enough. I need to be more positive. I need to be more grateful. Then it becomes a spiral. Frustration creates guilt. Guilt creates more frustration. And none of this changes because you're not being honest with what you really feel. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You're not wrong for being frustrated. You're human. And repressing that frustration, pretending it doesn't exist, covering it with beautiful but empty affirmations, that doesn't solve anything. That creates quantum resistance, trapped energy, an invisible blockage between you and what you want to manifest. Think with me for a second. If you were in a relationship where you can never say what you really feel, where you always have to smile and say everything's fine even when it's not, what would happen? Resentment, distance, total disconnection. That's exactly what happens with money when you force gratitude while you're frustrated inside. Money feels the dissonance. The quantum field detects the incoherence. And instead of flowing toward you, it hesitates, because you're not being real. So here's what really matters. It's not about always being positive. It's about always being honest. Because unexpressed energy is trapped energy, and trapped energy blocks flow. What nobody taught you is that sometimes, for money to flow again, you need to stop pretending everything's fine. You need to take off the mask. You need to be brutally honest about what you're feeling. And that's where something comes in that will sound completely crazy at first glance, but has a solid scientific basis behind it. You need to argue with your money. I'm not talking about cursing the universe or going into victim mode complaining about life. I'm talking about a conscious, strategic, honest confrontation, a moment where you stop pretending and finally tell the raw truth about what you're feeling. Because when you release that energy consciously, when you stop repressing and start expressing, something shifts in the quantum field. The resistance dissolves. Energetic honesty is reestablished, and flow can start happening again. Let's talk about something most manifestation teachers will never tell you. Repressed energy doesn't disappear. It stays trapped inside you, creating an energetic knot that blocks everything trying to reach you. Think of a garden hose. When water flows freely, everything works perfectly. But if you twist the hose, create a blockage, water stops coming out even though the faucet is open. That's exactly what happens when you repress frustration, anger, disappointment about money. The universe's faucet might be open. Opportunities might be trying to arrive. But the internal blockage won't let them through. And here's the fascinating part of quantum physics that few people understand. The quantum field doesn't judge your emotions. It simply responds to the frequency you're consistently emitting. If you're frustrated but pretending to be grateful, you're emitting two opposite frequencies at the same time. And when two waves meet in opposite directions, they cancel each other out. This is called destructive interference in physics. Result? Nothing manifests. Because your frequencies are literally fighting each other, creating a neutral field where nothing happens. Now, what happens when you stop repressing and finally express what you're feeling? The trapped energy releases, the knot unties, the hose untwists, and flow can start happening again. But there's a massive difference between two types of confrontation here, and this is crucial. There's destructive confrontation and constructive confrontation. Destructive is when you go into victim mode, when you start blaming money, the universe, life. Money is bad, never works for me, I hate this, nothing ever works out. That doesn't release energy. That only reinforces a pattern of scarcity. Constructive is completely different. It's when you confront as equals, when you remind money you have an agreement, when you say with clarity and firmness, "Where are you? I show up, I do my part, I hold the frequency, where's your part?" That's not victimization, that's mutual accountability. It's like a business partner who's not keeping up their end of the deal. You don't cry saying it's their fault, your life is terrible. You sit at the table and say, "Look, we had an agreement. You promised to show up. I kept my part. What's going on?" This honesty, this healthy confrontation, does something powerful on an energetic level. It reestablishes truth. And the quantum field? It responds to truth immediately. Let me explain what happens in your nervous system when you do this. When you repress emotions, your body goes into silent alert mode. It's not obvious stress, but it's constant tension, internal contraction. Your nervous system interprets this as danger and activates survival mode. And in survival mode, you don't receive, you protect. So even if money is trying to reach you, your nervous system blocks it because it's in a state of not safe. When you express frustration consciously, when you release the pressure through honest confrontation, something incredible happens. Your nervous system relaxes. It's like you finally released a breath you'd been holding for months. The tension dissolves. The body exits protection mode and returns to receptivity mode. And it's in that state of receptivity that manifestation happens. Not when you're tense pretending to be happy, but when you're relaxed because you were finally honest. So conscious confrontation isn't about attacking money or the universe. It's about releasing the energy that was trapped. It's about undoing the internal blockage that was preventing flow. It's about exiting dissonance and entering coherence again. Because coherence is power. Coherence is clarity. Coherence is the state where the quantum field can finally respond without interference. And look, I know this might sound strange. Arguing with money? Really? But think with me. How many times have you had an honest discussion in a relationship and afterward felt lighter, closer to the person, more aligned? It's because honesty creates intimacy, and intimacy creates flow. So if you want money to truly flow in your life, you need to stop having a fake relationship with it. You need to stop smiling when you're frustrated, thanking when you're angry, pretending everything's fine when it clearly isn't. You need to be real. Brutally, uncomfortably real. And when you do that, when you finally take off the mask and tell the truth, something will shift. Not because the universe heard you yell, but because you finally released the resistance that was blocking everything. Now you're probably wondering, how exactly do I do this? What does this argument look like in practice? Because there's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and the difference between them determines whether it'll work or just make you more frustrated. All right, let's get to what matters. How exactly do you argue with money in a way that works? Because it's not going around yelling at the universe or complaining about life to your friends. That won't change anything, it'll just make you look crazy. I'm talking about a structured, conscious, strategic process, an energetic release ritual that you do alone, at a specific moment, with clear intention. And yes, you're going to speak out loud. Yes, it might feel weird at first, your neighbors might think you've lost it if they hear you, but it works precisely because it's real. So here's how to do this step by step. First, you need to create the right space. You can't do this in the middle of traffic or while you're cooking. It needs to be a moment where you're completely alone, no distractions, nobody around. It could be in your bedroom, bathroom, parked car somewhere empty. The place doesn't matter as much as the privacy. Turn off your phone. No notifications, no interruptions. This will take about 5 to 10 minutes max, but it needs to be entirely your time. When you're ready, take a few deep breaths. Not necessarily to calm down, but to connect with what you're really feeling. And then begins the part that will seem crazy, but is exactly where the magic happens. You're going to speak out loud, not in thought, not mentally, out loud. Because when you externalize, when you take it from inside and put it out through words, energy truly moves. Repressed thought stays trapped. Spoken word releases. So you start by expressing all the frustration you're holding. Don't censor. Don't be polite. Don't try to sound spiritual or evolved. Say exactly what you're feeling. It could be something like, "Money, where are you? I've been here for months doing everything I was taught. Affirmations, visualizations, forced gratitude, and you just don't show up. Where are you?" Or maybe, "I'm tired of this. I do my part. I work, I show up, I hold the frequency as much as I can. But you stay invisible. Is this fair?" Or even, "Everyone around me seems to have it easy with you. Why is it so hard with me?" Let it out. Everything that's stuck, everything you never allowed yourself to say because it would be low vibration or negative manifestation. 2-3 minutes of this, without holding anything back. And while you speak, pay attention to what you feel in your body. Maybe chest tightness, maybe a lump in your throat, maybe tension in your stomach. Let the emotion flow along with the words. After you've released everything, after the pressure's out, comes the second part. You're going to state your case. You're going to remind money of the agreement you have. And the tone changes here. It's no longer emotional venting. It's a firm conversation, equal to equal. Something like, "Look, we have an agreement here. I show up in my life. I make decisions. I face my fears. That's my part. And your part is to flow, to appear. So where's your part of this agreement?" Or, "I'm not here to beg. I'm here as a partner demanding commitment. You promised to flow when I aligned. I aligned. Where are you?" This tone is important. It's not victim. It's partner. It's not poor me. It's we agreed on something, I kept my end and you. And after that, comes something most people skip but is essential. You go silent and listen. A full minute in silence, without speaking, without thinking, without planning what to say next. Just listen. And this is where interesting things happen. Sometimes an answer comes clearly, like a sudden insight, a thought that doesn't seem like yours. It could be something like, "You're not ready yet," or "You're blocking here," or "I'm coming," but you're not seeing the signs. Other times nothing verbal comes but a sensation, an understanding, an inexplicable relief. Don't force it, just listen. And after this silence, you do the renegotiation. You declare a new agreement, conscious, intentional. It could be, "Okay, money. Here's what I'm willing to do. I'll stop doubting. I'll keep my part of the agreement without wavering. And you? You show up. You flow. Deal." Or, "I promise not to repress frustration anymore. If I feel something, I'll be honest. And you promise to appear when I'm aligned. Agreed?" Declare this with clarity, with firmness, like you're signing a verbal contract. And then, the last part. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3 long conscious breaths, and you declare, "The conversation is over, the argument is over, we're aligned again. I release, you flow, done." And then you let go. Don't ruminate, don't analyze if it worked. Don't desperately check results in the next few hours. You did your part. You released the resistance. You reestablished honesty. Now let the quantum field do its part. Look, I know this might seem like theater. It might seem like you're talking to yourself with an invisible entity and pretending it responds. But here's what's happening underneath all this. You're not really talking to money as if it were a person. You're talking to the energetic pattern inside you that's blocking flow. You're giving voice to internal resistance, releasing accumulated pressure, untying emotional knots. And when you do this consciously, when you externalize instead of repressing, your nervous system understands it's safe to let go. Your energetic field clears. Your frequency becomes coherent again. And the quantum field, which has always been responding to your frequency, can finally deliver what it was trying to bring all along. It's not magic. It's energetic mechanics. And now that you know how to do it, let me explain exactly why this works on a quantum level. Now let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes while you're having this apparently crazy conversation with money. Because this isn't pure esotericism. There's a solid scientific basis here that explains exactly why it works. And when you understand the mechanics behind it, it becomes much easier to trust the process. First thing, release of repressed energy. When you repress emotions, especially intense emotions like frustration, anger, disappointment, they get stored in your body as stagnant energy. Your nervous system interprets this stagnant energy as constant tension, and constant tension keeps you in alert mode, in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, your body prioritizes protection, not expansion. It prioritizes keeping, not receiving. Prioritizes closing, not opening. And then it doesn't matter how many affirmations you repeat. Your nervous system is literally blocking receptivity because it doesn't feel safe to receive. But when you express emotion consciously, when you externalize through words, something fascinating happens. Energy moves. It's like you've unlocked a door that had been jammed for months. Internal pressure decreases. Tension dissolves. And your nervous system finally gets the signal. Okay, we can relax now. It's safe to let go. And when your body relaxes, when it exits protection mode and returns to receptivity mode, you open space for manifestation to happen. Second thing, reestablishment of emotional coherence. When heart and mind are aligned, when you feel what you think and think what you feel, your electromagnetic field enters a state of coherence. Coherence means harmony. It means all your frequencies are playing the same song instead of creating chaotic noise. And coherent field? That's the field that manifests. But when you're frustrated inside while faking gratitude outside, you're creating total incoherence. Your heart is on a frequency of frustration. Your mind is trying to force a frequency of gratitude, and the two clash, creating interference. The quantum field can't respond to this because there's no clarity in the signal you're transmitting. It's like trying to tune two radio stations at the same time. Just noise comes out. But when you finally admit the frustration, when you stop faking and become honest, something incredible happens. Heart and mind align again. Even if the emotion is frustration, at least now it's true. And truth creates coherence. And after you release this frustration through conscious confrontation, after you express and let go, then you can enter elevated frequencies genuinely. Not forced, not faked. Real. And real coherence? That's the language the quantum field understands perfectly. Third thing, quantum field reset. The quantum field around you is constantly reading and responding to your dominant frequency. Not the frequency you want to have, the frequency you really have. And if your dominant frequency for months has been repressed frustration, even if you don't consciously admit it, the field is responding to that. It's delivering you more situations that validate that frequency, more scarcity, more blockage, more frustration, not as punishment, but as reflection. When you do the conscious confrontation, when you release frustration and declare a new agreement, you're literally doing a reset on the field. It's like turning off and restarting a computer that was frozen. You clear the memory, remove problematic programs, and restart with new settings. Your energetic field does the same thing. The dominant frequency changes, resistance dissolves, and the quantum field can finally respond to the new frequency you're establishing. Fourth thing, reactivation of expectation. When you're resigned, when you've internally given up, even if you're still trying externally, you stop observing, you stop expecting, you stop looking, and in the quantum world, active observer collapses possibilities into reality. Passive observer leaves everything in indefinite superposition. When you do the confrontation with money, when you demand, when you declare a new agreement, something inside you awakens. You start expecting a response again. Not desperate expectation. Active expectation. The expectation of someone who asked a legitimate question and is now attentive for the answer. And this expectation reactivates your role as observer in the quantum field. You start noticing synchronicities that went unnoticed before. You start recognizing opportunities you ignored before. You start collapsing possibilities that were floating formless. Because now you're observing again. And conscious observation creates reality. So when someone asks you, "But how does arguing with money make it appear?" The answer is, it's not the arguing that makes it appear. It's the release that arguing provides. It's the energetic unblocking. It's the restored coherence. It's the field reset. It's the reactivation of expectation. It's all these pieces clicking back together after being misaligned for so long. And look, I understand it might seem too good to be true. It's not a magic wand. It's not a guarantee that $10,000 will appear in your account tomorrow morning. But it's a real energetic reset that removes a real blockage that was preventing real flow. And when blockage leaves, flow returns. Maybe not in the way you imagined, maybe not in the timing you wanted, but movement starts happening. And movement, however small, breaks stagnation. And broken stagnation, that's the gateway to real transformation. So now that you understand the science behind this, now that you know it's not craziness but energetic mechanics, the question is, what happens next? After you did the confrontation, after you released the energy, after you re-established the agreement, what comes after? So you did the confrontation, released the energy, declared a new agreement. And now? Now begins the part most people don't understand, and that's why they give up too early. Because there's a wrong expectation that after doing this once, the next day you'll wake up and $10,000 will be magically deposited in your account. And when that doesn't happen, the person thinks, "Oh, it didn't work," and goes back to old patterns. But that's not how it works. Let me explain what really happens in the next 24 to 72 hours after the confrontation. The first thing you'll feel is relief. Not necessarily euphoria or explosive happiness. but a deep relief, like a weight you didn't even know you were carrying, finally lifted off your shoulders. You breathe deeper. Your body relaxes. Something inside you knows something changed, even if externally it still looks the same. This relief is the signal that repressed energy was released, that your nervous system exited alert mode and returned to receptive mode. Don't underestimate this relief. It's evidence the process worked on an energetic level. And after this relief, in the next few hours or days, small synchronicities start appearing. They're not big, they're not obvious, but they're there. Someone who owed you money for months suddenly remembers and pays you. An unexpected opportunity comes up in casual conversation. You get a surprise discount on something you were going to buy. You find $20 forgotten in an old coat pocket. They're signs, small but significant. Because the quantum field doesn't deliver everything at once right away. It tests if you're really open, if you can recognize and receive movement, however small. And here's the mistake most people make: ignoring the small signs, waiting for the big ones. Money is saying, "Okay, I heard you. Here's a sign I'm responding." And if you dismiss that sign as, "Oh, that doesn't count, that's coincidence," you're basically telling the field, "I don't want to receive yet." And flow stops. So the first post-confrontation rule is, recognize and celebrate any movement, however small. Someone paid you those $15 they owed. Celebrate. "Thank you, money. I saw that sign." Got an unexpected discount coupon? Acknowledge. Got it. You're starting to flow. Each acknowledgement is an energetic yes. It's you telling the field, "I'm open, I'm receiving. Send more." And when the field sees you can receive small, it sends bigger. Second important thing, how to maintain openness in the coming weeks. You won't do this confrontation once and never feel frustration again. It doesn't work like that. Frustration might return, doubt might resurface, fear that nothing changed might knock at the door. And when that happens, here's what not to do. Repress again, pretending everything's fine. What to do? Do regular check-ins, honest weekly conversations. It doesn't have to be intense confrontation every time. But it needs to be honest. Something like, "Money, this week was tough, I didn't see much movement, I'm starting to doubt again. But I'm choosing to keep the agreement anyway." Or, "Hey, thanks for the signs this week. I saw them. I acknowledge them. I'm open for more." Think of this as relationship maintenance. You don't have one deep conversation with someone you love once in your life and never talk about anything important again. You maintain open, honest, continuous dialogue. With money, it's the same. And whenever you feel frustration accumulating again, do the process again, as many times as necessary. Because the goal here isn't to do it once and be cured forever. The goal is to build an honest and continuous relationship with money. Third thing, don't go back to old patterns just because results aren't giant yet. You do the process. You see small signs. But since you still don't have the amount you want, you start falling into desperation again. You go back to compulsively checking your bank account. You go back to feeling panic when you think about bills. You go back to doubting everything. And then all the energetic work you did falls apart. So here's the hard truth. You need to keep your part of the agreement even when results aren't obvious yet. You said you'd stop doubting, that you'd maintain frequency, that you'd trust the process. So maintain it. Not because you saw external proof, but because you made an internal commitment. And the quantum field? It tests this. It tests whether you really changed or were just temporarily excited. If you pass the test, if you maintain frequency even when nothing seems to be changing externally, that's when real, deep, sustainable change starts happening. Not in days, in weeks, sometimes months. But when it happens, it's solid, it's lasting. It's not a temporary peak that disappears again. Last thing, and maybe the most important. This process isn't about making money come by magic. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with it. About moving from a begging posture to a partnership posture. About stopping pretending everything's fine when it's not, and starting to be brutally honest. And when the relationship changes, when you truly become honest, present, confident in that relationship, money responds. Not because you did a magic ritual, but because you finally removed all the layers of dissonance, repression, and falsehood that were blocking natural flow. And natural flow? It always wanted to happen. It was just waiting for you to become real enough to receive it. So if there's one thing I want you to take from this entire video, it's this. Money doesn't want you to be perfect. It doesn't want you to always be grateful. It doesn't want you to fake vibrating high when you're not. Money wants you to be real. And the moment you take off the mask, the moment you stop faking and start being honest, everything changes. So now you know the truth. That energetic honesty is worth more than forced positivity. That releasing frustration consciously opens flow that fake gratitude never could. That money responds to your real frequency, not the mask you wear. And tonight, before you sleep, I want you to do something brave. Find a private space. Speak out loud. Tell money exactly how you feel. No filter, no censorship. Express everything you were repressing. And then, listen. Renegotiate. Release. You don't need to believe it will work. You just need to be honest, that's it. And I want to hear from you. After you do this, come back here and tell me. Did something shift? Did you feel lighter? Did money start responding in small but real ways? Leave a comment telling me your experience. I want to read everyone. Because when you share your truth, you strengthen the collective frequency of everyone on this journey with you. And if this message gave you permission to finally stop faking and start being real with money, subscribe to the channel. Because we're rewriting the rules of manifestation here. No toxic positivity, no spiritual fakeness, just raw quantum truth. But there's something I still haven't told you. Because even after being honest, even after releasing resistance, there's one thing most people keep doing wrong without realizing it. And this thing? It's silently sabotaging everything you're trying to build. Because money has a love language. A specific way it wants to be treated, recognized, received. And if you're speaking the wrong language, it simply doesn't feel seen. It's like trying to seduce someone speaking a language they don't understand. You could be saying the most beautiful words in the world, but if they don't understand, it doesn't work. So in the next video, I'm going to reveal something that will completely change how you interact with money. I'm going to show you the 5 love languages of money, which one you're using wrong, and how to start speaking the language that makes it finally feel seen, valued, and ready to flow in your direction without resistance. Because arguing honestly was the first step. But speaking the right language? That's the complete game. Click on the next video now. You won't want to miss this.